everyone, it's Larson in the lab again, and I'm here for part 2 of the egg lab. So you can see I have all of our eggs. Most of them are kind of just backups because sometimes things don't go as planned in science, but I have been soaking this egg in vinegar for 2 days now. I put it in on Friday night and now it's Sunday night. I'm here and I'm going to take this egg out. I'm going to find out the mass of the egg using my balance and weighing dish. And then I'm going to write down some observations that I can make. But here's what's going on in part 2. Part 2, we want to know what happens in syrup. So today you have a shellless egg. The shell has been completely dissolved by vinegar. Acetic acid makes up 5% of the liquid in vinegar. Water makes up the other 95% of the liquid in vinegar. There are also some other changes that might have happened with the egg. So step 1 here, pour off the vinegar into the sink drain and catch the egg in your hand. It's going to be kind of delicate, so I'm going to need to be very careful when I do that. Then I can gently rinse the egg underwater, and I could possibly rub any shell that's left away, though that's not super critical that I do that. Next, I'm going to kind of pat my egg dry and measure the mass of the egg using the balance. I'm going to record that data in day 3 on a chart. And in Google Forms, it's just going to ask you what was the mass on day 3. Then I'm going to look at the egg and write 2 observations, rinse out my beaker, place the egg back in the beaker, and then this time, instead of pouring vinegar, I'm going to put pancake syrup on it. So guys, if you wanted to try this at home, you totally can do this. These are things that you can easily find at Walmart or the dollar store or the grocery store. You can then notice that the egg might float and some part of it might not be submerged in the syrup, but that is okay. Then we will place the beaker back on the counter with its data sheet because we want to keep each egg with its own data sheet. So you're going to make a hypothesis for this part. Predict how the egg will respond when left in syrup for 24 hours. So you will make a hypothesis that's something like, if the egg is left in syrup, then you fill in the blank. Here's some other questions you're going to answer. What happens to the size of the egg after it was in vinegar? Why did the egg change size? Use words such as water, molecules, concentration, low, high, move. Then you're going to look back at your hypothesis from part 1. Was it correct? Was it incorrect? Did what you thought would happen when we put this in vinegar actually happen? Now, also, vinegar is made of 5% acetic acid and 95% water. What effect did the acetic acid have on the egg? And what effect did the water have on the egg? Next up, what do you expect to see when you observe the egg after 24 hours in pancake syrup? All right, so let's get started. I'm going to come over to the sink. I know it's kind of out of view, but I'm going to carefully get the egg out of this beaker. I'm going to rinse it a little bit because it does have a little bit of kind of like bubbles on it. But I'm just going to rinse it off really gently and hopefully it doesn't crack. That's kind of the risky part. Why sometimes I tell my students, don't worry about rinsing it off. Just because this has become a very delicate egg. I'm telling you, it's really squishy. It does not feel like an egg anymore at all. I'm also going to rinse my beaker while I'm here. All right. So now I have my beakers rinsed out and I have my egg. I'm going to hold it up so you can kind of see. It looks really different and it's squishy. So like it's not hard anymore like a normal egg would be. You might be able to see that it's kind of bouncy and you can actually see it's yellowish. The reason I'm seeing yellow is that actually it's more concentrated kind of in the middle. That's the egg's yolk that I can see within the egg. So it's squishy. I can kind of, I'm not going to bounce it on the table because I don't want it to pop, but I feel like I could bounce it. It's squishy. It's a different texture. Basically, there's like an outer membrane here. So here's what I'm going to do now. I've got my scale and it's balanced and it's at 0 grams. So I'm going to set the egg there and let's see what the mass is. Wow, it has really changed. So on Friday, when I put the egg in the vinegar, it weighed 54.30 grams, and it currently weighs 74.42 grams. It has gotten a lot bigger. And so I'm going to record that mass, and then I'm also going to record that now the egg feels squishy and it's yellowish color. And I'm going to put that I can see the yolk. All right, so that's kind of it for today. What I'm going to be doing in terms of recording data, that's it. But now I'm carefully, whoops, I still had a little water left. I'm carefully placing the egg back in the same beaker that I just rinsed out. And I'm going to use some pancake syrup, and I'll pour the pancake syrup over the egg. And we'll see what it looks like tomorrow night after school. I'll make my next video where I show what is going to happen to this egg. I think you'll be surprised by how it looks tomorrow. So thanks so much for listening, and tune back in. Well, for you guys, it'll be scroll down to the next video on Google Slides to see what happens next. Not Google Slides, Google Forms. Wow, I'm tired. That's okay. All right, we'll check back in tomorrow, see how this egg looks after 24 hours in pancake syrup. Guys, it's gonna look different, so get ready for that.